Hello, Irene Krause of Krause Creations here, welcoming you to part 2 now of our tutorial on making polymer clay bezels for acrylic pour jewelry. Yeah, I'm obviously trying to do only one of these a day because I like to spend time to work on my things and stuff. Okay, what we're going to be focusing here in this segment is the process. I really don't need to do much to prepare these types of the cabochons with glass to prep them for use within polymer clay, because well, the temperatures that you're baking your polymer clay at, depending upon what type and brand that you're using, in an oven range usually from 300 degrees, rather 200 something degrees up to through 350 possibly. And well, not in 350, God, where am I getting that? 200 to 275 or so. Some of them might hit 300. It all depends, again, brand and type. Anyway, the glass cabochons with, of course, the acrylic paint can go just fine in the oven on those temperatures. So when I add these to the polymer clay, they'll be able to go into the oven with it just as is, no worries, no fuss. The ones that are on the paper can also go into the oven at those temperatures with no problem at all, because that is not hot enough to cause the paper to burn. Now, it could possibly scorch a bit, which is why I'm going to be, of course, putting them down in the polymer clay so that the paper part is going to be covered up. But that the paint portion of it, because after all, you can use acrylic paints, just about any type there is, on polymer clay before it's baked, and it has absolutely no problem in the oven. What would have problems in the oven would be the resins. Now, there are a few resins out there that can go in the oven at those temperatures and they won't suffer in any way, but I'm not sure which ones they are, and I know they're not any of the ones that I have. So that is why this part is going to be focused on getting these skins that I've cut out in various shapes. This one, as you can see, just came from one of my cutters. I traced around it and then I cut it out. That will become a polymer clay cabochon eventually with a resin finish in it. But because I can't, once I put the resin on there, I can't put it back in the oven. I have to do all the polymer clay aspects of it first. So that's what we're focusing in here on this episode. Now, obviously, when you're cutting your shapes out, I would recommend that when you're new to this that you not try to do something with a lot of curves and points in it like this one has. This is actually a shape that I drew out. I just took a piece of paper and actually folded it in 4 pieces in that case, and I traced out a shape and then I cut it out. And then I traced it onto, in this case, it was a piece of packaging material that was transparent, so that way I could see through it nicely. And that way I could put it down on top of my skins and see through it very clearly. And I have, obviously, a few different shapes here. I thought I would be using, now where did this one go? Where did it go? Oh, here it is. I thought, see, this is this shape. I thought I would be using this one with as the background part of the bezel. And where did that go? Pardon me as I'm losing my little mind here and can't find things. Oh, I think it fell off on the floor. Pardon me a moment. Yeah, I have my little pocket here in my apron, and there's something in it already. Oh, this is a little tip for you. I don't remember who it was I picked this one up for, but I saw somebody doing it. This is an old Kleenex box. You know, the kind that has these little plastic lips on it. And I'm using it as a little wastebasket here. It's perfect for me to put in those little clips of things, like my little wire snippings and so forth. When I'm working with my wire, it goes in here. This way, if it gets knocked off my table, which don't task me, I've done that so many times. But anyway, when it gets knocked off on the floor, and I'm saying when because it will get knocked off the floor, I'm such a klutz, the stuff doesn't go flying all over the place. And no, I am not seeing, pardon my bare legs here, I've got shorts on, honest to God. Where did that thing go? Where did it go? Like I said, I am losing my little mind here today. And I can't find it at all. Well, let's move on. And it didn't get caught in my little pocket. That's why I don't know if you could see this. Let me move the camera over here a bit more so you can, just for this shot. See, this is an apron, and I just took, well, this is actually a, what do you call those? Fat quarters, I think it is. I took a piece of fat quarter, had to tack it together to make it big enough, but I just made a nice big pocket on the back bottom of this apron, which I encourage to sit open like this here, so that, yes, as I am such a big klutz and I knock things over every time I turn around, most of the time they don't fall on the floor, they fall into my little pocket. But I wasn't so lucky that time with that. So now I can't find that other little shape I had cut out, which I had thought was going to be big enough to work with this. I'd already started to trace it here. So I'm actually going to show you, because what I want to do is have this sit like about like that in the middle of this shape. So if I just finish bringing my, well, I guess you could say it's sort of a fancy looking arrowhead shape is what it's going to be. I bring that down. Now I have a lovely shape. I could just use my regular scissors with this one. Oh, and now my camera's all off. Sorry about that. Let me turn it so it's pointing down at my table again. Somewhat. There. Okay. So now all I have to do is cut this shape out. And because I have it folded in half, I'll have a very nice symmetrical shape. And again, pardon the hand tremors. My blood sugar is actually going and running a little bit high today. So now that will make a very nice substantial pendant. So that'll be a perfect one to use with Lunamilla's techniques, which you'll get to see. I'm not going to demonstrate how to do the technique itself because she has a wonderful video that I'm going to direct you to on the subject. But anyway, now what I need to do is transfer this. Now I don't need to use a I can just use a piece of ordinary cardboard for that. And do I have any? Oh, there's an old Kleenex box. I could just, oh, I'll just use this. What the heck? Yeah, I can get it right up in here. Now let me grab a couple of, I'm gonna actually tack this down so it doesn't move while I'm tracing it. Yeah, ordinary painter's tape here, nothing scientific. And if I can get it to come up, yes, my nails are very brittle now. After I went through the chemo, So I have to keep them quite short because otherwise they're always breaking on me, and that is, of course, can be quite painful. So let me just roll that real quick and stick that down on there so that it's not gonna move. Rub that in really good. And I think I will use the red one, hopefully, so you can see it. Let me put this underneath, so maybe that'll make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. And then I just trace along carefully the outer edge so I get a nice, fairly smooth. I'm not going to cut this out in front of you, but you can watch me just trace this out. You'll see this cut out later on. And there we go. Now I have a lovely new shape to use for pendants. And that will be a perfect size. Don't need this anymore. Put that in my little waste basket. But that will be a perfect size for this one to go into when I'm doing that. Okay, but anyway, that's how you go about cutting these out. Like I said, for those of you that are new to this, you probably want to stick to something simple like a rounded kind of a shape, or the diamond maybes. Teardrops would be perfect also, rather than these kind of fussy ones, which it looks like, looking at it, I need to do a bit more trimming. Maybe I'm just going to have to give up on that one. It's getting a little warped. This one looks good. That looks even. But this one looks, well, I'll zoom in on it there so you could see it. It's pretty sad looking. So that one I don't think is going to work, so I guess I'm not going to get a pair. Well, this one here I'm just going to discard. I don't, like I said, this one looks, well, it looks a little uneven there, but it's not bad. And that one's the same. Maybe it's my shape that got cut a little wonky. I'm going to have to redo that, I think. But I'll try to work with these just to see if I can. But anyways, as you can see, I have got a fair number of these that are usable and nice, and I can work with them. Oh, one of the other things I want to point out is, if you may or may not have noticed, this one is one of my ones for my earrings, and I'll try to zoom in. I'm not going to try holding it up in the air because I shape so bad you're never going to be able to see it, but I'll try to zoom in on that close enough so you could see the back side of this, and you could tell that the paint on that isn't as thick as I thought it was. You can actually see through parts of it. So when I have a glass bezel, or rather cabochon, that ends up like that, then I know that I have to either paint the back of it again with, like in this case it would be black paint, or I would have to put it against black clay. Either one works. So that's just another little tip. You don't have to throw things away. There's actually very little waste when it comes to your acrylic pouring. Some people may disagree with me, but I finding ways to recycle that unused paint in different ways. And the same with polymer clay. There's all kinds of ways for you to use your scrap clay. Now, that's going to be it for this part of the segment, and we will get into the rest of it in a little bit. I don't know if I'll have time to do it because I am expecting company shortly. Bye for now.